Hey, how's everybody today? I hope you're doing well. As you can see, I'm doing really well. It's the end of the International Women's Month, and I decided to celebrate it with a nice jaunty red cap. Not that we're totally happy with all that's been happening, but we have to keep our spirits up. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Well, today I'm happy that I'm speaking to a sister not just in advertising and marketing communications, but a sister in life, a sister that we have so much in common when it comes to our values and beliefs. And hi, Asian, thank you about the hearts. Thank you. Welcome. You know, and it's a pleasure to bring on my sister, Bunmi. Okay, um, and we'll talk a little bit more about her and all her achievements and her first and seconds and thirds, all the things that she's done. And today we're talking about the brand woman, not the brand woman, but the brand woman. So, Bumi, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let,
Thank
let's
you very
let's try
much.
and
Good
do it.
morning.
You're
I
welcome.
call you
Good
Auntie
morning.
Julia, and it won't change today. Thank you. Good morning.
Well, I've had people who call here and call me mama, so
It
that's
won't
fine.
change just yeah, so forgive me. So we call you Auntie Julia, and that's going to be it. So that's it. So good morning,
Okay.
everybody. Glad to be here. It's a privilege, and I'm very excited to be here too.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Tendai. Hi. Good morning. Yeah, I'm not looking hot. You guys were looking hot. I saw you guys on Facebook. Trust me. But let me get on live with my sister Bumi on Instagram and see Bumi. You once you see me, please ask to join.
Okay. So we're on the lookout.
Okay, I'm there
Okay.
now live.
All right. So we're just going to go ahead, and then I'll request to join.
Yes.
At least that's the beauty of technology. Everything is changing fast.
Everything is changing, and once there's an upgrade, my goodness, you find yourself trying to catch up. Like, what's happening?
Well,
Uh,
yes. So we sent the request, so we should be there.
yeah, I'm waiting. The request hasn't come on live yet, so
It's reading it's reading her requested. So perhaps it's just
can you resend?
okay. Can do that again.
Hi, Faye. How are you doing? Nice to see you. We're trying to get good to see you, Faye. Listen, I want to join your shows, but it's at night. I'm an old woman, Biko. Try and do something in the
It says for
daytime
me,
and I
okay,
sleep
join.
at that time.
Unless if you please
Okay.
come live
Okay.
first.
All right. So we've sent it again. We sent the request to join.
Okay.
I'm sure this time it should go.
I'm sure.
So,
I'm watching out.
it's on.
Hey, Faye, you like my hat cap? I have loads of caps. I think I should be wearing more caps then. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Women hasn't come.
So
I don't know. Should I
wow. I
request?
wonder why.
Okay, let me request. Let me
Tell me
request.
what. Okay,
Let me
fine.
request and see.
All right. So, so do we come out?
No, she's going
All
to.
right,
She's going
fine.
to show you.
Oh, I've sent the invitation.
So we've got that go live.
Faye, I should keep it for you as a seed. Hey, Faye, okay now. Okay. No problem. I will keep it for you. If I'd known you like cabs, I would have sent you one. Hmm? Okay. You have to let me know where to send it, okay? But my friend Onoya gave this to me. Okay, there. We are on. And we are on.
Bravo. Thanks to our young
Yes,
geniuses around. Yeah. I
yes.
just
So
remain calm, Once you have it, that's the word. Teamwork always works. So big
because
teams, small teams, just get it done. Thank you.
thank you for hanging in there. Thank you. And hi everyone on Instagram.
It's a
I may
pleasure.
not be able to see you after a while because I get kind of intense. But today's one is a fireside chat with my sister and my professional colleague, Bunmi. Okay, So I'm just welcoming some people. Uh,
Thank
yes,
you.
Bunmi.
I'm glad to be
Yeah.
here. It's a pleasure. And like I
So
said, yes, Auntie Julia, I'm all yours.
this thing is going to be into parts. I'd like us to talk about
Okay.
branding and then women, um, how they are how they are presented, the narrative about women. I'd like us to talk about that first, and then we will come to you. We will come to you. I want to start off with
Okay.
a quotation. Hi, Isiaku Adabu. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Hi, Folayemi. Hi. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you. This is a quotation I saw. I'm sure you know about what's been happening in America with the lady Keteji Brown, and her the hearings about the hearings for her being made a Supreme Court judge. And I know those hearings are usually very difficult for men or for women, you know. But I understand there was one question that she was asked, which is she was asked to define the word woman. And I found that question extremely intriguing for many reasons. Number one, I mean, it's a no-brainer. And number two, it's a very difficult thing to define. And then she answered, I can't. And somebody answered, and this is on another platform I belong to. Somebody said, is she truly a woman? Because if she truly were, she should have no difficulty or hesitancy whatsoever in giving us a definition for the word woman. Those of you here who are women and care so more about gender and melanin, that's a different story. And think this appointment is unique. Anyway, never mind. That person went on to on their own private and personal rants, which they're entitled to. But how do you define woman? How do you define woman?
Well, Auntie Julia, that's an interesting question because I would say, as always, being advertising strategists and what have you, and I would always divide it from a 3 point view. First, it starts from the physical because I think the first thing we see is like the packaging. How we package? That's how you know whether it's a woman or you assume. And I think we'll start by saying the woman is likely to be physiologically, she probably has boobs, so we'll probably see that. She probably have long hair. Those are the stereotypes. She
Yeah,
probably has what we know down below, what is different from a man. So that is the physical composition. Even the backside. When women are walking, you can even see the back. You will know that from the back, this is not a man because they tend to be more slimlined, like some aeroplanes, whereas some women are like jumbo jets. So we really have to say there are different ways to define a woman, for goodness sake. So that's the comical side. But that was what you call stereotypes, because now you have women that don't have long hair. You
Yeah.
don't have women
Hey,
that, some women
there
we
you
don't
are.
know what is
I
below
don't have.
anymore. And sometimes, yes, some people actually do not have, well, they'll tell them flat chested. That's not the issue. Some people, for some even medical reasons, they have actually have had their front cells removed for biological
Yeah.
and maybe health reasons. Now, would you say because she doesn't have a front side, she's no longer a woman? I don't think that is it. That's why I said it's a very deep way to describe. But I think honestly, the first thing is that the woman has the physical side, because we'll start with that side. But there's also the other aspects of a woman. There are some parts of a woman that when you enter a building, for example, you can tell when a woman is in charge of an office. I always go to offices. I know when the woman is an HR manager, because a woman has details. A woman will put flowers. She will think of the toilet. She will think of everything. I can always tell an office, because there's a finishing touch a woman brings to life, which is different. Even from the Bible, it said she's the able helper. So she helps to do so many things that a man probably will not even think about. She will put it in colors. You wonder why do you have to have a matching toilet. But I can tell you, when I go to an office who's a female or who was trained by a female, because of certain details. I mean, why you can drink. And so, what I'm trying to say is that a woman has many capabilities, and we have a lot of skills that are underrated. Women naturally multitask. And when I say multitask, I'm talking about from, I call it, sometimes I call myself, sometimes when I'm describing it, I say I'm in my Risi mode. Risi means house help mode. When you are having to clean up, do the dishes, I call it my Risi mode. I'm not Risi, because if you see me at that stage, you will not even recognize me. And then we'll morph into my executive. I said, so you go from when you call it, to bedroom, to the boardroom, to the cook room, to the shop room, whatever. You will morph in one day. A woman has many parts, whereas a man may just sit down, cross his legs, and that's the way life has been socialized. So a woman really is, I'll say, ambidextrous, multi-talented, and actually, because you multitask, you find that your brain is actually wired to be far more quick and receptive at certain things that a woman will see, a man will not see. And so therefore we think differently, we act differently, and we bring color and a nice smell to life. So I really don't know what else you want to, how else you want me to describe a woman, you know. So I hope my description has not caused more problems so. And the beauty about women is that it's devoid of color. That's the irony. It devoid of color. Women are women. That's it. So I'll put a
Yeah.
full stop at that point.
Okay. I really like that we bring color and nice smell to that. Well, having said that, there's some men, I think they call them metrosexuals. There's some men who, and that's just because they know how to groom. It has nothing to do with their sexuality. They just know how to
Yes,
groom
yes,
themselves. And I think one of the first metrosexuals I was aware of, it may not have been the first, but one of the first I was aware of was David Beckham, because he was always impeccably turned
okay,
out. But then I also remember
yes,
in my time when we had those guys who they used to wear this kind of hat, or they had a perfectly formed afro, and then wear these the young men in my time. And please believe me that those men were not. I was too young. They were not talking to me for some reason. They were not talking to me, but I admired looking at them. They would wear their bell bottom trousers, finely ironed, and they wear belts, wear three belts in a row, all perfectly aligned. And I think looking good is something that is common to both genders, you know, both genders. But I agree with you. Like,
yes.
yeah, we are
But
ambidextrous, we are multi-talented, we are perceptive. Yeah, we do. We are. Totally agree with you. Which
and check it out, Auntie
brings me.
Julia. You'll find out that men that are like that, you'll find out that is the, go and check it out. You'll find that men that are the way you talked about, you'll find that somewhere in their lineage, they've seen sharpshooters. I'm not talking about the fact that every woman is that way. I'm just saying that describes women in general, just the same way we have men in
Yes.
the stereotypes. But you'll find that if you look down the lineage, there'll be a lady that has helped them groom themselves.
I okay. Your sound went off a little bit. Are you back on?
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, I can. You have okay, Faye, Kemi, Faye, Kemi. You have to decide which one of us you want to love. Eh? Just decide now who you want to love. Because she's on Instagram. She says, "Nice to see you, Bumi. Okay. I always remember the career chats we had when I was managing your account. Love you loads." And Faye is just a
Wow,
reference. And she's
thank
saying
you.
some of us have no hair. Yes, Faye, I have no hair. I'm like Jada. I have alopecia. You know. That's the truth. I do have alopecia, and I turned it into
And
a
you
brand
carried it
a
very
brand
well anyway. So
identifier.
that's the point. That's the reality. Yeah.
I turned it into a brand identifier for myself, you know. So the other thing I'd like to talk when it comes to brands as women is that truly, could we say there is one brand? I do agree with Justice Keteji Brown for not falling for that answer to say a woman is one thing or the other. Can we truly say there is one way of identifying the brand woman?
No, I wouldn't say there is one way. I said the only way I think we can have one way of defining a woman is by the physiological structures. And even that is changing now. Because so that's one. But what I think is that I wouldn't box anybody into stereotypes to say this is how a woman should be. For example, whether it's from the career or what a woman does in the house, really, if we go into history, you find that they're all stereotypes, really. They're all stereotypes. When you say, oh, going to the kitchen is a woman, if you who's the driver is a woman, it's not, things are changing, and they used to be like that. It's not true. I grew up with the fact that there's nothing that you cannot challenge. If you challenge the status quo that men cook, I grew up with men that cook. I grew up, but so my hubby doesn't cook. It doesn't change anything. That's the way he is, the way I am. But it doesn't stop the fact that some men cook, some men don't. And so, what I'm trying to say is that women, I think we should describe individual people because people have personalities, and then depending on your education and your exposure, will make up what type of total person you will become. Some women have not become their best themselves, not necessarily because they are not good. Maybe they just didn't have the opportunities or they haven't been able to utilize the opportunities they have. Does that mean they're less of a woman? I would challenge that. So I don't know. I don't just believe there's one definition of a woman. I think we should take people. That's why you describe people rather than just by their gender or by their physical makeup, and all that. But there are some things when you want to make it easy, you put them in groups. For example, you can say all your bottoms and your tops, all your caps. But you can even go into
Yeah.
and describe from gele to cap to face front cap to baseball as well. I mean, some of it is just for organizational convenience and how complex your life wants to be. But some people just want one head and that's it, nothing else. So I think my own definition is a woman is that, well, let's start with the physical definition and then the composition of you as a person. Because honestly, we're all wired differently. That's the way I see it. We're all wired differently. And for a purpose. That's my view.
For a purpose. Totally for a purpose. Totally for a purpose. Okay. Now, I think that the fact that it's easier to put us in buckets, which we call stereotypes and archetypes, um, the marketing communications industry has found it very easy to deal with those stereotypes, which don't um, truly reflect us as women. I'll tell you a story, and this comes from a very good place. Um, you know, I'll start by underpinning it with a statement that if you don't know, you don't know. So you need to ask and know. Two stories. When I started in advertising, I was asked to work on keg beer. That you go to parties and they'll serve beer on tap like they do in pubs abroad. And believe me, I was coming from Calabar. We don't have Owambe in Calabar, but we didn't have at that time. And even if they had, I was living with parents who were like, "You're going to Owambe? Hell no, you're not going anywhere. You're not going, to anything." So I didn't have that understanding. And I started writing really nice, highfalutin things that I thought would work. And my managing director at the time, Mr. Biodu Shobanjo, called me and said, Julia, have you ever gone to a party? I said, yeah, I used to go to parties all the time when I was in school, in uni. And he said, no, have you gone to an one bed party? I said, no. He said, so you have no idea how this thing runs? I said, no. How does it run? And he now painted me a word picture. He painted it very well for me. I'm like, and he said to me, I'm taking you off this account, not because I don't trust in your capabilities, but until you experience it. You can't write on it about it from the inside, because it is a very specialized thing. I mean, now there are those parties everywhere, but at that time it was a very Western Nigeria kind of thing. Now, contrast it with my immediate boss. Now, that was the boss, the MD of the agency. Now, my immediate boss now decided to write a jingle for simple sanitary towels. And he wrote it. I happened to be passing by, being a busybody as usual. And he said, oh, what a joyful feeling when you wake up to see a parent. I said, hey, hold on, what are you writing for? And he said, for women, don't you people feel happy? I said, why would you feel happy? Why would you assume that all women would feel happy? You know, it's not likely at all that all women will feel happy. I said, for me, no, I used to have real horrible period pain. So I think you need to ask women what they feel. And he didn't take much notice of me. I was a very junior copywriter at the time with too many opinions, you know, and he he presented it to the client. The client bought it, and the women did not buy it. So when he came back to say, "Oh well, Julia, maybe you did have a point." And I'm like, yeah, I did have a point. I did have a point, you know. But that is just to say that we need to. They're different. We are all multi-layered. There's not one type of man. There's not one type of woman. Sorry, I gave you a speech instead of asking a question. It's leading up to a question. It's leading up to a question, and it may be out of your control. Why do we still have those women portrayed like that? It may not be women as a sex symbol, but it might be women as we're not draping women over cars. We're showing women driving those performance cars now, but we still have these women as the bad stepmother or mother-in-law. We still have women as the one who fights. There's one movie I liked in particular. No, it was a television series called. Should I mention the name? No, it was a television series set in Benin. I will not mention the name at this time. As they say, if you know, you know. And the main character was a female, and she was as tough as old boots. She was tough. She was a young woman who was tough, and I watched it because this was a change from the stereotype. The question now, Bunmi, is why do we, as content creators in advertising or in the media, go for the stereotypes? Why? There must be a reason why.
Well, I think there are two reasons. Let's start from the fact that when you're given a brief from a client, there's an objective. And depending on the composition of those who are working on that brief, they want to solve a client's problem. Sometimes in solving a client's problem, they want to take the easiest way out of it. I'll give an example. You find that nowadays, everybody uses, I would say, a Nollywood star because they want quick recognition. Before you build brands to have its own personality. But now, the objective, I need to have quick attention. So, of course, naturally, somebody who's already known is going to give you quick attention. So, so that they're using that strategy doesn't mean that it is right or wrong, but you find that it's because they are solving a problem of clients that don't have patience and want immediacy. Now, going back to stereotypes, many times, let's not forget that when people are developing commercials, they want to achieve the client's objective. Many times, maybe the clients, you find some clients, they just actually like women. They even tell you the woman that you should use in the commercial. And there's some people who fall for it. They say it's my girlfriend, that she must be the star. You'll be shocked what goes on in some places. But in real professional setups, you are able to tell them, uncle, please, this lady will not say, she's not the type of target audience. When you go into this our grammar, the target audience, profiling, brand aspiration, this our grammar we spend in advertising. Some clients will listen, some will not. But when you are fortunate to work with the multinationals, they listen to such things. But you are working with a myriad of clients, and some clients just want immediate result, and they even dictate to the agency. So many times, of course, if the man says just put a few women, because men will always see women in a commercial anyway, because opposites attract. So naturally, just put the lady there, because that is the objective. They want somebody to be looking at it and say, they'll even show some parts of the areas that will be more attractive, because that is their strategy for getting attention. It is not necessarily right, but you find that is what they have decided. However, when you want to do a commercial, the area you went from was the fact that it was from insights. You see, consumer insight is critical. You must have an understanding of your consumer when you want to write, whether it's for a political campaign, whether it is for a champagne, and I'll give an example. You talked about an example of how you were writing from your position of understanding. I was a bit fortunate that when I started, I got into a shock of the fact that I started by working on an account where it was already a multinational. I remember the marketing director then telling me, Bunmi, you're very fortunate to be working on a margarine, an international account, because you go places. I couldn't understand. I was thinking it was these usual bragado stories. But you see, I learned something quickly. I remember the first, we were going to do a sugar boiling for this multi, and they said, let's do some research. In my young mind, I thought, what are you researching about orange? They said, let's look for orange. And that, having been born in the UK and had an exception of what orange is, of course, I thought it was as easy as peace. But Auntie Julia, let me tell you my shock. That was my defining purpose, starting my career. By the time they came out with research, they brought out that oranges in Nigeria is synonymous with the color green. Then it occurred to me that in Nigeria, Olosun, when they say Onsoreo, the outside of the orange actually green. So how do you expect someone to associate green and then I realized that the oranges you've been seeing, Bunmi, are what they call Java oranges. So I started opening my mind to always have dual sides to things. There's the international side, there's the local side, there's the rural side. So I've learned one thing in this our career: fast, always open your mind and see what you talked about. You are writing from your perspective of what a party is. If I've gone to a party, like my husband would call party or more day, when you're singing Ringa Roses, you say it's party or more day. I don't know. He's always laughing at these Ringa Roses type of songs. I said, well, sorry that I said, look about that, but I'll just joke. That thank God you went abroad, so you've got to understand the better side of life. So the point I'm bringing out is that honestly, we're all just a function of our different experiences. But the beauty of advertising and marketing is that you must open your mind to understand different perspectives. And I think that is what you're trying to say. Now,
Yeah.
in using women for advertising, some stories are actually true because it comes from insights. Some women want to be pursued as the wicked mother-in-law because they believe that if you are too soft, you are not a strong woman. They also, I remember one day I heard a woman say, if you don't have a child by natural birth and they go through as a woman, I thought, how do people believe such treacherous? So unless you suffer in pain, somebody's trying to help you, and this type of, and these are educated women say, she's not a real, or she hasn't had boys, she's not a girl. All sorts of, even women, they are the ones that will even be whispering. I remember when I had my set of twins, I didn't have a clue. I didn't even know that there was a twin. How would I put it in the Yoruba land? If I had to read a book on twin culture, but one woman, I remember whispering to my ear saying, Bunmi, you are so blessed. You even have two men, and I couldn't understand. I thought, what is the story? He said, you don't know that in Africa, when you have boys. I said, me, I'm a woman. What is all this story? Then I started realizing all these stereotypes come up from, I'm telling you, me, I just wanted two healthy children. And I actually wanted a boy and a girl. But I said, if they must be two the same day, I said, God, let them be two boys because I have a tomboy. That was the reason. So I can be carrying them about with me. You can imagine my own flippant reason. I didn't know there was a tradition that has to go with the fact that, Auntie Julia, I believe that honestly, Ignorance is really what is our problem here. Because honestly, when you have healthy children, or whether you then know that a child is a child and is priceless. So I think it's about education, it's about addressing a brief, it's also about the fact that we women too must challenge ourselves. I don't accept those kind of even women, we have to challenge ourselves. When a woman comes to me with a certain stereotype, I remember I had to battle this left hand syndrome. It was almost battle
Mm,
royal. Because I mean, I
mm,
grew up with the fact that what I didn't understand this left hand or no left hand culture. So these are little things that are creeping, and women will even be putting it inside. I mean, that's another story for another day. But my point is, even women, you have to battle and say, sorry, oh, are you aware? Then they think maybe you are too no, or sometimes I even use the excuse that okay, I'm British. I pretend as if I don't understand the culture, because that's the only way I can get away with not accepting to toe the status quo. So I think sometimes it's really about people's backgrounds, experience. It took me a long while to realize that I was actually very privileged having grown up in the UK. I thought actually I was suffering when I was in UK. I didn't know it was a privilege. So you see, people still have different perspectives. I didn't know coming to Africa when they say, you've gone to UK, you grew. I said I grew up there, so it's nothing strange. But the truth of the matter is that because we're coming from a country that is very challenged in terms. Thank God for the internet. So I think it's all about our mindsets and getting real facts. Don't base your let's not base our understanding on stereotypes. You and challenge them and decide what really works. Thank you.
thank you very much. I understand I'm not part of this movement. I would like to be part of it, but I understand there's something in the advertising circles now which is designed to challenge stereotypes, like in an institutional, holistic way. And I do hope that the people are listening, or they'll listen thereafter, because these are real things. Um, yeah, okay. I'll just leave it at that. I was about to get on my soapbox, but let me
I
share a
think is it the women?
few
Is it
comments.
women in advertising? Okay?
No, it's not just women advertising. It's like advertising agencies, committed. It might be a UN thing. I'm not very clear about this, but them pledging to present women in a different
All
light,
right.
or be more inclusive. Yeah, in the marketing.
Because of how women are.
Yeah, yes, you're right. That's it. Lost you for a minute there. Yeah, but it's Alliance
Well,
for
like
Stereotypes. Yes, yes,
yes. Yeah. Okay, Alliance for Stereotypes. Okay, fine. I think
yes,
I've read a bit about it. Yeah. And
yes, yes.
that's a lot of
And I'd
hard
like
work
to.
because they will keep on coming,
Yeah,
depending on our education and
yes,
experience.
yes, yes. But let me share a few comments we have from Hussein. He says stereotypes I feel are easier to influence and sell to, as well as understand. Yes, yes, I agree, but it's still the easy way out. Yeah. And then Tony Achibon says effective communication, think local, act global. Yes,
Yes, that's
yes. And
that's
then
that's it. Yeah.
he says something else. He's your fellow Southpaw. He says, "Bumi, my left hand, my magic
Yes,
spot."
thank you. The left hand. Yes, so, thank you. Yes, so thank God.
Yes,
Thank God for that. That some people have realized that
yes,
having a left hand is actually. I mean, for
yeah.
goodness sake, but honestly, these stereotypes are unbelievable.
They are unbelievable. They are unbelievable. They are. So let's segue into you, Bumi. You have a number of firsts. You're the first. Were you the first AAAN female president? Were you the first?
But if I'm the second female
You're
president,
the second. You're the second. Okay. Why did you go for it?
yes. But if I want to do braggery, if I want to market myself, I would say the first in my generation, if you want to put it that way,
It's
whatever
okay.
that means.
It's okay. It's okay. We will take it. But
Don't worry.
how did you?
No
What
marketing
made you
language.
decide to go for it? Yeah. What made you decide to go for it?
You want my honest opinion was that it sort of evolved. I never actually, when I started my career, I never even thought about being the triple AAN president. But one thing I learned early in life is that honestly, you get what you respect. Mrs. Thomas was the first triple AAN president. She was my boss. So I had the privilege of going around with her as a young executive, and I really helped her to do whatever she needed to do to shine. I thought I was just doing my job. I didn't know I was sowing seeds, you see. And I knew how much difficulty she had. Get this, I saw the challenges she had to battle, but she had her own style. She's not confrontational, but she will still whisper to me certain things that are going on. So as a young person, I could not. But she said, "But me go and get some ads." Then I was client service head. I'll go and get them, follow her to meetings. In fact, got to a point we even sleep on the same room in her. Sometimes I was almost like her corporate handbag. I'll follow, which I did very happily because she will give you the respect you needed. So I'll follow her and I learned. But the areas I didn't agree with, I'll leave her. I'm the kind of opinionated person, but I always believe take the best you can from people around you. So she had a lot of things I learned from. But one thing I noticed was that I was on meetings then. She put me on committees because she found I was committed. So as far back as over 20 something years, I'd been on triple N committees. And I found out that people actually see you if you can perform. So I gradually moved from being members of committees to chairperson of committees. And from chairman, I then became the first female chairman of Life Awards. Life Awards then was becoming the first creative, I think, awards for the industry. And
Yeah.
I remember it was Mr. Nubolu I was working with first as a committee member. He recommended me to become the chairman. And I became the chairman of that committee. And I think that threw up a lot of my skills as well as my capabilities, as well as what I could do with teams. And honestly, when a vacancy came up, I remember I was actually I first became vice president and I was on a poll. Somehow the men would encourage me and I think, okay, let me do it. But I was, one thing I think women, we can sometimes be a bit ignorant because to be honest, it was then Mr. Lolo Akim, who was then my boss in 141 that told me that, Bunmi, by the way, they are putting your name down for considering you for president, blah, blah. I was still speaking my English language. I didn't really know what I was saying. Fortunately, it was my husband that was saying to me, he overheard and said, Bunmi, they're asking you to be president and you are speaking all this English. First I said, is that what they are saying? Why didn't they come out straight? We women, me, my own style, are very straightforward. I don't speak in silo, how will I say, I'm going left, you're going right. So I really didn't understand the politics of it first. So eventually, I then picked up and I realized that, okay, there was an opportunity. And it was actually the men that said, this woman is very capable, she has what it takes. And then as God will have it, that's why I say some things are time, chance, and opportunity. I then got the opportunity to also represent the whole industry at the national conference in 2014. Which had never happened. They hadn't actually invited somebody from there. So that actually helped. And it's coincided with my 50th birthday. Everything, somehow things were just working. When things work towards your good. So that's why I believe there's a spiritual aspect. Because honestly, I learned something from Mrs. Thomas. I was at a meeting once. And I mentioned somebody's name, the support of the committee. And it was a man that said, that person, no, don't bother. And I thought, is this how they pick people and drop them? So your image, how you manage yourself, what you do, even when you don't do things so well, how you manage your exit and entrance is so critical. And I learned that. And honestly, I believe you should respect people along the line. That's why, I remember when you started SYU and all that. We unless we are ignorant, I always observed industry and women. And God gave me that grace to be the second female president. But let me tell you the part that I found very interesting. When I started traveling a lot and I go to places, and they ask you, where are you from? I said, I'm the chief executive of this, or I'm the CEO of this, or whatever. I so found out, but when I say I'm the president of the association, I found that there was always a double take. Almost like when I said I have a set of twins. I found that they look at me twice and say, wow, you are the president of your association. It tells me something that is like a crowning, how like it's like a chip on your shoulder that lets them know that you must know something for you to have been able to become the president. Then number two, even people told me that no matter what, for you to become a president of your association, it means you must know a little bit about politics. So that's why I now learned that, well, maybe I'm a trainee politician. That's what even started firing my interest in learning to be a trainee, because I also was also ignorant. I'll say I was emotionally ignorant. I'll say emotional intelligence about some things. Me, I just, women, you just want to do your work and get on with your life. But I found that life is not like that. Sometimes you have to be nice, smile. People just want to talk to you just because you want to say hello. And you too just want to talk to the people too. So I'll say it was just, it evolved. I went through I'll say I climbed and by the time I came around, everybody knew me in the industry. So that was another thing. I was known. I wasn't just somebody they plunked on anybody. So they had known me right from my days in LTC advertising to when I went to Abuja, up to when I was in 141 Worldwide. So I think it was just time, chance, and opportunity, and it came at a time where it was so for tweeters, I think Triple M was also marking its 40th anniversary. So many things were working in my favor, I'll say, that also gave me a good platform to perform, So, and I give God glory for that. So that was really it. So I started opening my sword. I'll say, we women, it's good to go for the top jobs. Let's put it that way. Most of us don't see it as, you just see it as a work, but there's honor, because I now understand when they say once a president, always a president. Because now when I go to functions, at least from a professional point of view, we like it or not, the fact still remains that you've been a president and nobody can take that away from you. So when you go to functions, you have to give you that honor. So it's interesting. Let's put it that way. It's good. It's just that it doesn't give you money, but it's good. But it gives you honor. That's the difference.
It opens the doors.
It gives you honor. Yeah. Oh yes, and it gives you
honor.
Honor. You can't buy honor. That's the difference. You can't buy honor. So I mean on a lighter note, it gives you honor. Yes.
And it gives you access. It gives you access to a lot of things. It gives you access to a whole lot of things,
And it also helps your personal brand, Auntie Julia. It helps your personal brand. Now, that's why you're interviewing me now, Auntie Julia.
No, I will have interviewed you
helps
anyway.
Your personal brand. So it's good.
I will have interviewed you anyway, Bunmi, because I love it. I love women who just say it like it is. Yeah, I love women who say it like it is.
That's it. And in fact, that's the title of one of my books that I'm thinking about.
Okay, so what I've picked from them, what I'd just like to amplify is be humble, pay your dues. It's very important to be humble, pay your dues, and learn as you go. But it's also very important to be discerning when you are in different rooms. Different rooms are different spaces, different opportunities you find yourself in. Just be discerning and see what's there in this. How do I compose myself? How do I comport myself? Because people are watching, and there's a platform you and I are on together, and I am very careful. I'm very careful not to know how I talk on those platforms. I choose what I want to comment on, and what I just feel it's okay. I don't need to answer to this, because the personal brand is everything. I have it's not a personal saying, but I like it.
Yes.
If you're going somewhere, you cannot stop and throw stones at every dog that barks at you. You just can't. You can't. You won't get to where you're. And that's not to say men or women are dogs. It's just So I want to segue from that, from the patriarchy. We've talked about the patriarchy in some shape, form, or fashion. I'd like you to talk about the matriarchy, because that's something many people don't talk about. What's the matriarchy?
You're right, Auntie Julia. But one other thing, one last thing I want you to add on that part is that there's a spiritual aspect to life, which I believe is that you get what you respect. When people are in a position of honor, you must honor whoever is in that position. If you have somebody like, I honored my boss and God honored me, that's where I see it, so on and so forth. I mean, you get what you respect. If you don't respect it, you don't get it, or it comes back to haunt you at some point, and maybe never be in exalted positions for demotion, because, you can fall off a high horse, which is not the best. You live with your dignity intact, So coming to the matriarchy, you see, the matriarchy is that people believe that they have rights just because it's like a mother that believes that she has an ownership of somebody's life. It doesn't work like that, You forget that your job is to bring life to people, but your job is also to let go and let God at some point. You let go and let go, because Yes, that we birth somebody doesn't mean now use emotional blackmail. I was carrying for 10 months, I carried for 9 months, and all these emotions. So the same thing with business. You get to a point where you have to separate sometimes your emotions from business, and you have to be honestly a bit. I wouldn't say the word is brutal, but factual. But I always tell people that, look, what I learned in my career is don't be under any delusion. I say anytime I'm in a job, I always remind myself that it's not that it's because they love me. They will love me when you do a good job. I'm yet to see a boss that loves somebody that doesn't do a good job well. I'm yet to see. So you find that there's even bias. They don't love people just because, when they make them look good, they will love you. So first make your boss look good or do
Absolutely.
your job well. So as a matriarch, your job is to allow people to perform and do their jobs well. And I believe it's your job to bring people up in your career so that they can be free and where I have so many people now that come back to me and tell, oh, Miss, okay, you did this, thank you for this, I didn't even know that, which is great. But let's take matriarch into our personal lives. Where people now want to own people's lives. You own your son, you own your daughter, you don't give them. I always tell people, look, live your own life. Because I'm living my own life. And at the end of the day, I tell my children, I'm not going to leave the house with you. You have to choose whoever you want to put. And my own is just to be praying and be hoping and pray that you make a good job. I can advise, but that is where it stops. But a point where I think we should know our boundaries, even as women. Even with men, I find that my husband has his part. We stay in the same room. There are some things he knows, like sometimes I'll be joking and say, look, sorry, this is where I sit, this is where you sit, because we have our comfort. This is your towel, this is my own towel. I don't believe that just because you are even married doesn't mean you shouldn't still be an individual. And I always tell them, I'm Bunmi okay, you are Kola okay, you are Okwe okay, look, everybody has an individual life to live. So matriarchal tendency is that you must live, but you must also give freedom. I can be very, very doting, but I can also be very free because I believe that in this life, you can't control your own life. You can only trust God now. At some certain point, you realize that you're not the captain of your own ship, not dock of the ship of other people. So I think women sometimes get overbearing in the fact that this is the kind of wife you must marry, or this is the type of life, or this is the color of your home. I remember even in my own personal life, my husband used to joke that sometimes if my mother, they have lovely and a sweet mother-in-law, but her own problem was she was too loving. You have a mother-in-law that loves you too much. That wants every she doesn't want you to fall down. And sometimes too much love is a problem because me, I was ready to go out and jump in it. But she's passed on now. She's a very successful industrial. But my point is, I remember jokingly, sometimes my mother-in-law will pick one thing, maybe yellow, and for that I will intentionally not take it because I know that if I take that yellow, she's going to bombard me with so many yellow things. So I might say, no, like here, man. So they know, just because I know that, Bumi, the next will bombard you with maybe 20 yellow pots at this. Meanwhile, she means well, but to me, it was not welcome. So you see, that's why we have to understand our matriarchal. So it got to a point that we learn to manage ourselves, and to a very good extent. I learned so much from her. Very organized, very open woman. So what I believe that everybody you can learn from, even people that you think challenge you, take out the best parts of them because there are some great things. Everybody has some greatness and everybody has some bad parts. So I believe just take the greatness and move on.
Yes.
So for matriarchs, I think we should just respect the fact that we have our roles, but it's not competing with anybody, and everybody must have enough space to live their lives. Make your mistakes. Don't be afraid to say sorry and move on. That's my little. If there's anything to go home, get on with. Just get on with your life. It's only one life, as they say. It's not a dress rehearsal.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Well, I'm also thinking about the matriarchy in the sense of the patriarchy as well, where women are fully organized and in a way, whether we like it or not, to get to certain places, you do need a sponsor. And that sponsor may be a man or a woman,
Okay.
right? And
Yes.
we tend to put that the burden on men, like, oh, it's the men who do not let you who will not let you in. But I have been in certain rooms, in certain spaces where women have made comments about other women, and it's like, oh, okay, that one is my friend. Okay, that one. I'm like, no, hang on. What about the capability of this one? But well, I think points made.
Okay.
So we'll just leave it and accept that. yes, the matriarchy does exist. Matriarchy is alive and well, and will continue to thrive until we continue to challenge it. Yes, we have to challenge it. Yeah.
Yes. But in the
I
corporate
think it,
setting, as Julia, I would just say, I think, to be honest, it was helpful learning that we must help ourselves. I think the women didn't realize that. And I found that the sooner I think we have to be re educated. That's the truth of the matter. And that's why I think that programs like this, women must help each other. 90% of my business right now are from women. I don't know whether it's by divine orchestration, but honestly, women are learning to realize that, look, you know what? Men help themselves. Women, you have to help yourselves based on competency. That's just it. I think just that women are a bit, because we are women have too many details. I've learned that we have to learn to be a bit more forgiving. Nothing is perfect. I'm also having to do that. Sometimes some things I wouldn't have tolerated maybe 10 years ago. I've come to realize that, Bunmi, let it live. It's not a big deal. Let's move on. So sometimes we keep on evolving and learn that life itself is not perfect. So that
it
make I
isn't.
think
It
we as
isn't.
matriarchs have to understand. Let's build people. Yes.
Yeah, let's build people and let's, as much as we can, be fair. I understand it's difficult, but
Yeah.
that thing about emotional intelligence, you know, it's very important. And it sounds like a woo woo subject out there, but it's real. It's real. You know. But I have two more main things I have to talk about here, and we have 10 minutes there. But let me push this forward. Is
Okay.
this is it today? I have a sense that this is today, not tomorrow. The
Yes,
brand
this one
building
is today
workshop.
at 4:30. I always do
It's
that on
today,
once a month.
4:30.
Yes, once a
Okay,
month.
okay,
Free. Yeah.
okay. So we're going to redo that, and
On Instagram.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. We're going to repost it. We're going to repost it. Okay. When we were having one of our
All right.
preliminary
Thank you.
conversations, well, Bumi and I talk a lot. I mean, you can imagine that two loquacious women. When we get on the phone, we talk about a whole lot of things. Not just loquacious. We are very opinionated about things. And one of the things she talked to me about was, well, it's three things actually. Your ecology, why you started that and how that's going. She'll tell you what it is about. I'll type it in there. Then the one about, I'd like your opinion on women, the bill in front of the National Assembly right now. You know, why I, as a woman from born in Lagos, I don't know why I can't claim Lagos as my state of origin. You understand? Because I was born in Lagos, right? And people still ask me, "What's your state of origin?" I've removed it from anything in my HR documents. I don't want to know your state of origin. It's not important to me at all. It's not important. But as a woman who is born of Cross River State parents, I do not have rights as an indigene in River State. That is how the bill is as now. And for someone like you, who you have British citizenship, your husband will not automatically you know become. That is how it's. I know I'm dumbing it down, but that's it. And the third one is your political antenna. How did you tune it to this point? So those are three things I'd like you to just speak to.
All right. Thank you, Auntie Julia. Quickly on oncology. Oncology, Yoruba, they call Oko is husband.
Yes.
All right. I pray to God I didn't want a broken home because it's kind of traumatic. But thank God somehow I've managed to get out of it and sort of make some reference of my life. But I soon realized I required rethinking because honestly, I had to rethink and relearn everything. Me, I grew up with, I used to be confident that what if I'm getting married and it doesn't work, I walk out. What the heck? But I soon realized that actually there's a spiritual aspect to marriage that you have what to say. So I had to learn first to say, come on, this all matter. So that's why then I realized that as a corporate woman, that there are so many things in this society. When I became president, people say, hey, so you are married, you have children. And I thought to myself, what do they expect? Then I started realizing that this is our society. There are lots of things I don't understand. So I realized that there's a way you have to also conduct yourself if you want to have a happy marriage. Because me, I made up my mind, I want to be happy. I don't want to just be managing. So I don't grow gray hair before my time. So I still realized that oncology, and so I realized that people, each time I did interviews, I mentioned it, they will say, so that's how we started talking about oncology. So I now realize that I think I better be doing a blog that is a way of letting us face reality and say, look, as much as we all um happy, you have to, there's a management style. There are times that I'll use style and tell my husband, maybe I know that in 2 weeks I want to travel. I won't just say I'm going tomorrow morning. I'll use style. This train we're going on. What do you think? I first have to, sort of like market to him to see whether he agrees or not. If I sometimes you say, no, go, and I think myself, the man is even pushing me. So or I come back from a training, I'll do some drama. This our life is a bit of drama. I say, I might kneel down and give me some food. They say, but what is this drama? I said, they say we should be kneeling down for you. Say, but this is not real. But me, I said, I know they said I should do it. So there's lots of drama in my house. I'm a very dramatic person. If you get to know this, the comical side of me. So I said, please don't start. He said, what have you learned again today? I said, don't worry. This is what they say on color. So I actually realized that people actually learn from it and they share. Because I learned, they say experience is the best teacher. It's not true. You don't have to be beaten black and blue to know that you shouldn't be beating your husband's house, So that's what oncology does. So it's just a blog and allows us to talk and look at the serious. In fact, sometimes my husband is saying, I hope it's not everything that happens in the house. You're writing oncology. I said, no. What do you mean? It's not. It's just food for thought. But at least I have his support because he too is watching it and helping me monitor. And people are contributing. So it's an interesting angle. So thank you for joining us on that. Then on this National Assembly bill, Auntie Julia, you and I know, and I've learned from one of the platforms that as women, it took me a while to realize that as an educated woman, we have responsibilities to help ourselves. Some of us won't be where we are today if we didn't have that privilege. And then she's gone off. If we didn't have that privilege. So some of the challenges I would just say is that I'll put it this way. There are many lessons I can bring to the table. You cannot tell me that unless I'm from a particular state or I'm from, it's all politics. I found that it's politics that is dividing us here in Nigeria. When you're in another man's country, they don't even, once you are born from in the country, they don't ask you what region or anything. And Nigerians do it because of selfish motives. They do it for political advantage or disadvantage. And they try to keep us perpetually in that dark. So I think that gender bill is going to be represented, and everybody must have rights. You cannot tell me because I'm a woman and my children don't have a right to my state, or my husband doesn't have a right to my state. All that one is just not going to happen. So I think we're going to hope that things get better and people can understand the realities of those situations. Then on political affiliation, well, like I told you, when I got into AAAN, I as a past president and working on committee and still volunteer, I still realized that I was politically naive. I didn't even understand office politics. I was a bit, I would say, I'm too straightforward. I had to learn office politics. So I now said, let me learn how to do politics. So I call myself a trainee politician. So I'm training, and I use any opportunity that I have to learn how to do politics. Personally, I just have a desire to be an ambassador. And it's only because I want to give God glory that I can be an ambassador, not because just the same way I decided that I wanted to have a set of twins, because I wanted God to be glorified, and He gave us, and I give God glory for that. My dream of being an ambassador is not because I just want to be able to say, and I said it, and I will have what I say, because God is real. But having said that, I also realized that the only way you can learn politics is that you have to get into it. And I've had opportunities to volunteer, and I've seen that politics, marketing people to the people is a totally different ballgame from marketing sugar or computers to people. So I call myself a training politician. So every time you see me in any political sphere, that's the reason. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I missed quite a bit because my
so I'm in
internet,
training. So I'm in camp training.
You're in training. Okay.
Yes,
My
no
internet
problem. I'm in
bumps me
political
off.
training. So don't worry. The summary is oncology. Yes, no problem with oncology. National Assembly is a must-do because as women that are educated, we must get our rights well entrenched as citizens. And last but not the least, my political ambitions are really out of the fact that from AAAN, I learned that you must understand politics. And I didn't want to be politically naive. That's why I call myself a trainee politician. So any opportunity I have to do anything that has to do with pushing government and taking decisions, I'm very happy to do so. So I'm learning. I'm in training. I'm in camp learning how to be a politician in Nigeria. So that is just it. And I'm having fun doing it because there's
Yeah.
nothing at stake. And my life is not a do or die situation. So thank you. Yes, that's the fun part of it because it's just for the fun of it. And I thank God I can do some
Okay.
things now at this stage.
I think it's really important for us to really express what we want. Sorry, guys, IG, the network conked out. The network conked out on my side, and I didn't hear a lot of what Bumi said. And well, if it was in our hands, we would do something about it, and we're actually going to, on our side as JJC, we're going to do something about it. But Bumi, these are some of the issues. These are some of the issues that we should not just stand aside and be helpless and just say, "Oh, I wish, I
Yes,
wish, I wish, I
yes,
wish." Will never. I mean, your
yes,
wishbone will
yes.
never take the place of a backbone. You need to put your shoulder to it and do it. And so when we see
I agree.
women getting up and
Yes,
doing it, let's ask them why. And even if we don't want to line up directly behind their candidate, let's line up behind them and find out how are they doing what they're doing. So when we do have a candidate, we know
yes,
how. Yes. And also we have that groundswell of women really
yes,
getting involved. And I don't know how many women on this chat today or on Instagram
yes.
have their PVC. I don't know how many of us have their PVC. I don't know how many of us know who the candidates are. Do we
But I have,
follow what's
that's
happening?
part of why we have to get
Oh,
knowledge. Yeah.
yes. We probably need to sit down and
That's
dissect
why
who are
knowledge
these
is key.
candidates.
You have to understand. Yeah.
What are they offering? Yes, we really need to do that. We need to do that. Yes. Faye has joined on Facebook. Okay, Faye, did you join ecology or you joined the politicology? Yes, politicology. So, what have we gotten? I love that. So she's given us another great word, politicology. She said both. Okay, there you go. All right,
Uh-huh.
joined you. Yeah, yes. She and I have an ongoing conversation about this thing, and I know that you cannot
That's
sit
good.
down and say, "Hey, I don't want to." I mean, you and I don't want to just sit back and let
Yes.
other people take. If other people keep taking the decisions for us, we have no right to complain about anything at all. We have no right to complain.
And then
That's
also,
what I'm
our
not.
knowledge must be put to use. What's the essence of traveling the world? Yes, and you can't contribute to your own quota. I mean, one of the areas that really challenges me is that I remember that as my children, when I had some of the best, my children were prem. I had some of the best medical facilities just because I was a British citizen and I am a British citizen. And I tell myself that learning I should be able to apply to Nigeria. Why can't a Nigerian citizen be have access rather to some of the best medical facilities because they are Nigerians? We used to have that when I was a student. You say, "Oh, you're from Nigeria, the all rich country." Now it's almost like Nigeria, where So it can't continue like this because some of us are seeing it
Yes,
from good. It should not go bad. It has to get better. So at least let's do our part and we'll leave the rest to God. At least you've go to your grave and you did your own part and you've done your part. Because like we said,
yeah,
we all have an assignment on earth. Do your part,
we
and
do.
then when the time is right, you take your bow, and that's it.
Yeah.
Fulfilled in Jesus' name. That's it.
As a very wise
So
man said
that's
to
really
me,
just you know.
he said, live your life. Life is a thread. You don't know when the scissors will come in and cut you off. So live your life, live your best life. I'm not being a motivational speaker. I'm not a motivational speaker at all.
Yes,
But
and
you know,
yes.
yeah, go ahead.
And yeah. I like to leave one thing. I like to say that for me, I've come to realize that everything in life is like manna. It has its time, it has its season, and it has its purpose. So it's for us to discern. When you're given a platform, or you're given contacts, or you're given a position, or it's for a time, a season, and a purpose. And for me, and it's not to be taken away because you're not going to take anything with you. So we need wisdom to remember that everything we have in life, whether it's privilege, fortune, opportunity, it is a seed. It's manna. It's for a time, a season to be used for a purpose, and it will not be taken away. So use it. So when you have that time season, use it well. You know, even the Israelites, when they carry the man, it got spoiled. So there are some things you are not going to need, that are not needed beyond this life. They are not
Yeah.
needed beyond a certain point in your life.
Certain
So
point. Yeah.
use it while you are there and move on, you know. So that's just what I like to say. And that's what I've realized I'm trying to do now, you know. So thank you, Auntie Julia. As usual, always
Thank you.
great to talk with you.
Well, last word from Faye Kevin. She says, "Imagine Julia Obumi becoming Minister of Communication. You don't even know that it is probably it's probably another one, not communication, that I'll be interested in. It's the one that defense. It's defense that I'll be interested in. Please get involved in politics. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you, we will. And we will be calling on you. We
Okay,
will
that's
be
the
calling on
campaign
you.
manager.
Yes. If you're the best campaign
That's
manager,
it.
yes, yes. If you're the best campaign manager, but certainly we will put
I like
women,
that.
we will open the door to women for sure. You know, I don't know if I'm a frontline person or a backline person when it comes to this, you know. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for
And thank
being
you,
part
Julia,
of
for and
this.
thank you, Auntie Julia, for always being that leading light. Yes. Thank you, Auntie Julia, for always being that leading light and showing us the way, because some of us had always looked up to you. And I'm happy that we are today having the privilege to converse. And when we're still going together, God knows. So thank you very much. It's a privilege and opportunity to be there. Thank you so much.
We still have somewhere to go together. We haven't done it. We haven't done it yet. We're going. We're
Yes,
going
by
there.
the,
Yeah.
yes, yes, thank you. By the grace of God. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much, Bumi. I couldn't
A
think of a
pleasure.
better way to
Thank
round
you.
up International
Yes,
Women's
virtual.
Month. And
Yes,
thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who joined us. I appreciate you. I love you. Onoya, I'm wearing the cap.
yes,
My
thank
friend Onoya gave me this cap. Yeah, I'm wearing the cap. So I promise I'll wear it
nice
today.
cap.
You know, thank you. And then Pagabisa,
Thank
sorry,
you.
not Pagabi. Pagabi, hi,
Thank
hi.
you.
Fake me, somebody gave it to me, and she's on this call. Let me ask her if she will give me. She says my cap. Okay, bye. Before I get into trouble. Bye. Bumi, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. See you next week where we'll start another edition of Vlog,
Thank
another
you so
series.
much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you. Thank
care.
you. It's a pleasure. Thank you. All right. Thank you.